Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Welcome to the party, pal.
What's going on, good people? Welcome back to Super Throwback to the Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years and beyond.
And beyond.
Right here on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and iTunes, or wherever else you listen to you get your podcast fix. What better podcast than BTTC? We're just that cool.
I don't think there's a better podcast out there.
And we're back with another Super Throwback, which I love doing these.
These are so much fun because for the first time, we don't have to set ourselves based upon a date. It's just based upon classics, you know. And we got a classic one for you guys.
We do. This movie is often debated as not being a Christmas movie, and when it's the opposite. It's the ultimate Christmas movie.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of you guys like to say it's the ultimate action movie and not the ultimate Christmas movie, and I say you're wrong. Simple as that.
Very, very wrong. But before we get into that, Dave, we didn't film this week's episode. We just didn't feel like it. But if you see what I'm seeing, my guy Dave casts a bit of a shadow of what's soon to be a beard.
You know, this is the first time I've always been babyface like all my life. I'm serious. I've always been baby-faced, and then I got like the fat Rob Kardashian look going on. So I'm like, you know what? I need to man this shit up. I mean, partner, I've seen you with some hustle and tussle of facial hair.
Oh yeah,
here and there.
We've been around. We've been cool since we were younger. When I had no facial hair, and then when I did have facial hair, I rocked the beard for a little bit. I rocked the
Jay Alonso beard.
The Jay Alonso beard. I rocked the Martin Lawrence and Bad Boys goatee. I've explored. I've had just the mustache.
I'm waiting for you to go full Luther Vandross though, where you really thin out everything. Like,
I don't know if I can do it.
Come on now.
I don't know if I can do it. I have too much space on my face for an ultimate thin.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I think you can pull it off.
But I like where yours is going. Yours is definitely it's very reminiscent of when Sandler grew his out for you to mess with the song.
That's awful.
No, I thought his goatee was clean.
Okay.
I thought his goatee was clean. Oh, look at Dave coming through. Like, listen, I'm about to man this shit up.
The worst part about this is that I have a lot of gray hair, so I'm even noticing like I have gray hair in my stubble growing in here, and I'm like, man, I really hope I come out looking distinguished and not like, I don't know, some crazy guy. What if I look like William H. Macy off Shameless?
It's better than looking like William H. Macy off of Boogie Nights. So when you think about it, who actually won that
Shots
argument?
fired!
Who actually won that argument? But I will say this though. No matter how you try to properly freak the mustache, in its growing stages, you're always gonna have that one period like, dude, do you need a buck?
I know.
Are you hurting right now? I feel like you're hurting right now. You know what I mean?
I mean, I kind of am, but you know, that's a different story. It's been a rough couple of months.
So, besides this new beard we got going on here, how was the rest of the week?
Sure, it was a week. It's been a week since we've discussed this previous. It's not been good. There's just been a lot of stuff that's going on, and December is always a cursed month for my family. Uh-huh. So, there's about 19 days left to go of it, and I can't wait for it to be over.
More than that, there's 19 days left in the fucking year.
I know.
That's what we should really look at it like that, because
I know.
As much as I have enjoyed what we've done here with the show.
Oh, it's been a horrible year.
Life itself has sucked in 2018, for sure.
How about you, partner? How was your week?
You know what? I can't complain. Before we went on air, you told me about your week, and I just got by the week. Like, your week was way worse than mine. But we are here because we enjoy what we do. This is almost therapeutic for me. So
it is.
You know what I mean? So I think I had a pretty solid week.
Yeah. That's the emotion. That's the emotion that I think kind of transcribes this entire year. Like like we could complain, we could whine to you guys, we could talk about how horrible our lives have actually been, but it doesn't make a bit of difference. We're here to give you guys entertainment. We're here to give you guys joy. So our week hasn't always been great, but we're here to make yours a little bit better.
And when it comes to back to classics or super throwback to the classics, of course, nothing else matters.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we got some stuff to talk about. Well, before we get to the turn of events in entertainment, we got a trailer to discuss.
Yes, we do. And it's about damn
time. Now, I was expecting the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, which we have yet to get.
I've heard a lot of stuff about what's in that trailer.
Right.
But I haven't actually seen a trailer itself, not at least officially released.
I saw a few stills. I think I saw an official look at Gyllenhaal as Mysterio.
Right, and Mysterio is supposedly fighting alongside Spider-Man, which is a little bit weird to kind of think about, especially with the theory I had last week of them trying to rebuild up Sinister Six. So we'll see where they kind of go with that.
Right.
You know.
But we did get a trailer. We got the trailers in all trailers.
No, we got the trailer.
The trailer. This trailer invokes so much emotion. Avengers. Here we go. Avengers Endgame.
Oh man,
is the official title. First of all, I love the fucking title. That's a great title.
It is a great title.
And of course, it's something that Doctor Strange says in Infinity War. So we picked up on that pretty quickly. But this trailer, I mean, only Marvel can give you this like, oh man.
And the thing is, the trailer tells us nothing at all.
It tells you enough while telling you nothing at all. The trailer opens up with Tony Stark, which we assume is on Nebula's ship.
Right. But again, all assumptions.
Assumptions. Where's Nebula? We have no idea where she is.
Right. But not only that, but remember his suit was connected to him by nanomachines.
Right.
And at this particular case, he is actually taking off his helmet. And he's talking into it to record a recording stating how he has been without food and water for 4 days and they're running out of oxygen.
He'll lose oxygen tomorrow. That's what he said.
Right. And yeah, I know. And here's the best part about that part. The fan base for this is so huge. They've literally reached out to NASA to be like, hey, can you guys be on the lookout for a spaceship? Of course we know it's a movie. We know. But the fact that this fan base is so strong on this to go out and actually reach out to a government, well, I guess not, a government funded agency like NASA. Mm-hmm. And NASA responded. It's fucking amazing to me.
Listen, can y'all just shoot out there real quick? Pick up Tony. We don't want him to die. You know what I'm saying? But but all jokes aside, I think that this trailer invokes so much emotion, so much curiosity, and it's a downer. It's a downer of a trailer. Especially for those who have seen Infinity War, how the movie ends.
At this point, full spoilers going forward. Let's
cool?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If you haven't seen it, shame on you.
I'm sorry, but clearly we know what happens. If we know about the snap from Thanos, half of the universe has been gone, including some pretty big names in the Marvel industry. Right now, we are only stuck with pretty much the original guys,
the original team,
Rocket, Raccoon as well. We did learn something. I don't know if you caught it, but you do see Shuri's face in the trailer.
When?
Very briefly in a projected hologram right before Peter Parker. Now,
I saw the same thing. I saw when I saw Peter Parker. Also, I seen Ant-Man.
Right.
And, that was clearly the faces of the team who were believed to have died. Right? Now, the appearance of Scott Lang at the end of the trailer, which gives you the most hope. Okay, so obviously something, Ant-Man's gonna play a huge part in this next movie. That we know for a fact. How badass was it to see Renner come back, no longer as Hawkeye, but as Ronin.
That's correct. He actually plays a different character in this now. Even though he still has the Hawkeye abilities, seeing this whole huge shot and scene, and because we're all curious what happened to Hawkeye. Why wasn't he in the first one?
Right.
In the first place. Well, now we know he's a different form now. He's a different format of himself. So I don't know. I'd like to see what kind of happens with that through this. Now I will say this. So obviously with Captain Marvel coming out, we're going to have a general idea of how things are going to kind of play out, right? But there is a pretty heavy rumor right now that that Captain Marvel is not the one that actually winds up saving the day. It's actually going to be Ant-Man, as they push that a little bit further and a little bit stronger. Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel is the one that's rumored to actually save Tony in this process. How? I don't know. These are all just rumors. Mm-hmm. So throw them out there, spread them like wildfire.
However you see fit.
Exactly.
But above all, I am hyped. They've pushed the movie up to April 26th now.
Yes. So this is a little bit different from what they traditionally do, which is February and
February or May, right? Yeah.
Right. So now Captain Marvel comes out in March, and we have a March and April release. So they're trying to get through this as fast as they can because there's more Marvel movies that are coming out. There's also a rumor on for future Venom movies that Spider-Man has to appear in the Venom movies. Did you hear that through Sony?
No, I did not.
Yeah, there's a pretty heavy rumor right now that Spider-Man, that Tom Holland has to appear in the Sony Picture Venom movies as part of the MCU contract.
Really now?
Mm-hmm. So I hear he is going to have an appearance and something's going to happen in the next Venom movie.
Outside of good old Carnage.
Outside of good old Carnage.
Well, I like many am looking forward to Avengers Endgame. Love the fucking title. Let's move on. Let's move on to some other stuff. We have, of course, we just talked about it last week, but things happen.
Man, just as quick as we were excited about it, it was swept right out from under us.
Kevin Hart steps down as Oscar host, stemming from in a very James Gunn similar type of situation where some old tweets were dug up by some troll. And next thing you know, those tweets have surfaced again, and they're of a homophobic nature. So the Academy approaches Kevin Hart saying, "Listen, either you apologize for it, or we're going to go ahead and find another host." And Hart chose to step down. Now, for me, this is where things get a little odd for me. His tweets were fucked up. However, he is a comedian. However, this is damn near 10 years ago. So you're allowed to grow and evolve yourself as a decent human being, realizing the things that you've done or said in the past doesn't define who you are today. If he chose to stand his ground and not apologize for something he's already apologized for, and like Los had said on his show, I looked up the actual article where he does apologize for these tweets 2 years ago, right? So because he decided he wasn't gonna apologize, he's gonna stand his ground, and I'm not gonna feed the internet trolls and yada yada yada. But then turn around, announce he's gonna step down as Oscar host and still apologize. So if you're gonna go forth and apologize anyway, why not just keep the fucking job?
I don't know. This is tough because in this era where we have lost our backbone,
right?
Totally, completely. Like we don't have a spinal cord to make us see fit. Everything is sleazy. Everything is very dark internet and trying to dig up old things that people have said. And the issue with that is this, is we're assuming that behavior in the past was not as accepting as it was now. Now, I want to be as clear as I can. Everybody has said and done something wrong. Right. Everybody has wronged somebody in some way, shape, or form. Right. Somebody has said a dirty joke, a racist joke. They have held opinions about certain people. They may have used stereotypes. They may have considered somebody their enemy that wasn't their actual enemy. And when is enough enough?
Right.
When is enough? Because the truth is that whether you wish to make every single person wind up being the villain, which is, by the way, a line from a movie from 10 years ago, The Dark Knight. Eventually, everybody becomes the villain, right? You either die a hero or you live long enough to become the villain. And the truth is that this is a shame on you to society. Personally, this is a shame on you to society and everything that you guys represent now. Where is your end game? Like, are you, let's say this. Let's say he went ahead and apologized and kept the gig. What would have you guys done? Would you guys said, oh, okay, well, that's fine? No, you guys would have continued to dig to find something else.
And then kind of go out to the academy for continuing to let him host.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then you want to shame these corporations for trying to do something that they believe is right when you guys are the one that's being wrong here.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. I'm sorry. I think you're all spineless cowards. And if you wish to dig up old BTTC episodes, yes, you could find it on this episode. I'm calling you all spineless cowards because that is what you are. You can find stuff on me. You could find stuff, I'm sure, on Jay.
Absolutely.
And the truth is that
I've actually began deleting some old tweets. I had to go down that path.
And the truth is that I don't care.
Right.
Because the bottom line is that who I was 10 years ago holds nothing, it doesn't hold a flame or a candle to the person that I am now.
Right.
You know what's funny? I actually have had this conversation with people before. When somebody would say, oh, if you could give yourself from 10 years ago advice, what would you give them? And I said, I would give him the best advice I possibly could. And that still doesn't mean that he would listen to it. Exactly. And that is the truth about the person I was back then. That is what is different from what it is now. And the truth is that I applaud Kevin for standing his ground and for doing what he thought he could do was right. Because the truth is that he doesn't need an Oscar hosting gig to solidify his legacy. He'll solidify his legacy with or without it. Right. And it's just a damn shame that you spineless cowards have decided to take that away from him.
To practically scare him off. And
exactly.
and really, and the timing of everything that surrounds this crazy situation.
That's all this is. That's all this is.
Because we've watched Kevin Hart win. I mean, win numerous times, and from the time he launched that Grown Little Man stand-up, which a lot of these tweets are coming from that time frame, from the Grown Little Man DVD to now, Jumanji,
right?
The ride along movies, selling out fucking football stadiums, and here comes the ultimate job that is really a comedian's dream to do this particular thing. Granted, the Oscar host gig only pays like $15,000.
Exactly.
So the bag is not that big of a bag, but it's the opportunity that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? And so you mean to tell me, this is a man who's had to, fight the public on the cheating, on, certain things he said, being attacked by other comedians, but all these things come into play when there's a big deal on the line.
And not only that, but the fact of how the rest of the public has kind of treated it afterwards, like, oh, well, somebody had the audacity to say, this was after Nick Cannon, who had a really good response as well, where he said, what about these comedians here? And what about their tweets?
He talked about tweets of Sarah Silverman,
Amy
Chelsea
Schumer,
Handler, and Amy Schumer.
And Amy Schumer. Yeah. So he digs up these old tweets and then somebody else responds, oh, well, Kevin had malice when he said his tweets. He didn't go out of his way afterwards to help support the LGBT community. You know what? Honestly, he doesn't have to support the LGBT community because he's not doing anything out of his way to harm you guys at the same token. He's making comedy. So you know what? Take a joke.
And the funny thing is, these are the same jokes that you have laughed at.
Absolutely.
That you have for sure laughed at one point. But now that we're in this atmosphere of I gotta be offended by everything. Those same jokes that you laughed at, because there is a reference to a joke that he does about his son.
Right.
About if his son turned gay, he blamed himself for not being a good parent. That had nothing to do with homosexuality. That's a personal issue he has with himself. That's nothing to do with y'all.
That's a self-confidence thing. It's an insecurity he's talking about.
About himself.
This isn't about. I agree with you 100%.
It makes no sense. I personally felt like there was no need for him to apologize. Especially, there was no need for him to apologize to keep that gig.
Exactly. And he was still the better man in doing so.
Right.
What can you say for yourself?
And now we're sitting here. What is it? The Oscars are about 2 months away.
Yeah. Not only that, but now
you have no host.
Right. And now they're scrambling. They're talking about doing an SNL style show. You know what? They tried to do that already.
It didn't work.
And it failed horribly.
But that's fine.
Though. If that's what everybody else wants, then fine. Then create that culture for yourself. Just don't include me in it.
No, I refuse to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Now, I can't say shame on the Academy because as far as I know with them, they're saying, listen, you apologize. We keep this thing going. But at the same time, to make someone apologize for something that I've already addressed before, I want to get this behind me now.
Exactly.
I don't want to continue to, like the fact that they wanted, people are mad at Kevin Hart because he didn't want to be the example of simply saying, oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Because no, when Disney fired James Gunn, he didn't get the ultimatum. It's fired, either you apologize or we can keep going to Guardians 3. No, you're fucking fired.
Exactly.
Over a tweet that are 10 years ago. So you mean to tell me I'm going to re-apologize for something that I've already apologized already way before. And on top of that, I'm not allowed to actually grow as a human being. To be remorseful about something I said 10 years ago. I know for a fact at 31 years old, I have tweets I probably shouldn't have said certain things.
Yeah.
But my mindset 10 years ago, I was 20 fucking one. And my mindset was way different then.
Absolutely.
The things I cared about was way different then.
You didn't have to think about another human being.
No.
You didn't have to think about where your career is going to take you. We've talked about how bad this year has been to both of us. You didn't think about how bad a year like this could have been to both of us.
Right.
You were 21. You were out enjoying yourself, and anything that you spewed, was exactly that. It was spew. Okay. So what reflection is that? That's a reflection upon ourselves for trying to find ourselves. I'm sorry, but men don't always find themselves at the age of 16, 15, 10, whatever Shakespearean, theories you think is supposed to happen. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Men have to learn. They have to grow. You give them the opportunity to grow. And if they grow to be a better man, then you just accept for who they were back then. But more importantly, you applaud them for who they are now. But you guys don't care about that.
That's all we've been saying. And now we're in a position to where this year's Oscars could be a fucking horror show.
Absolutely.
However, going forward, who's going to want to host this show?
I'm not.
Because
I wouldn't.
You call me today and say, hey, Jay, we would love for you and Dave to come on the show. Nah, we're good. And here's the reason why. If taking on this task of hosting what is believed to be the most watched event outside of the Super Bowl and whatever presidential elections is on at that time, the most watched event in entertainment history, taking on that mantle, taking on that position of being the host of the Oscars comes with that much fucking scrutiny of something that I said 10 years ago. I want no part of that because you want like people out there because they want to keep a certain a certain thing that you're used to flow that way. I feel as if James Franco hosts the Oscars high. He hosted the Oscars high. So take this black man, Kevin Hart, who said some foul things 10 years ago, making him re-apologize now. If you came to me today and said, listen, I want Jay and Dave to host the show. Nah, we're good.
No, I'm good.
We're okay.
No, thank
you. And trust me, where we are right now in our careers with this show, what? You're fucking crazy. Nah, I'm all right.
No, I'm good.
I'm all right. Because
thank you for the offer, but
thank you so much.
But please move on to somebody else.
I'm okay, and that's every comedian. That's from the brand new ones to the established.
And mind you,
I want no part of it.
We could use a 15 grand bag, but I'm okay.
I'm okay. I'm a-okay. Like nah, I'm good. I'm good. And the exposure from that is what everybody wants. Even Chris Rock was like, yeah, nah. Because trust me, they've called Chris Rock. They've called several people. They want no part of it.
It's going to be awful. Yeah, at this point, just announce the winners on a television screen. Have a red carpet event.
Don't even have a show. Just let us know who won.
Right. Have your red carpet event and have the after party, and don't even show us who won. Just hand it off to them, and then just release something on a website.
Yeah,
there you go. That's it.
Because you're headed,
and that's what you guys want. Just so you know,
you're headed for a 4-hour snooze. We have nothing better to do but sit here.
Save the money. Save the money. Put that to other projects. In fact, use that money to fund all these foundations that every single one of these people keep crying about. Go ahead, cry about it. So fine, there you go.
So what do you think happens from here?
Nothing good. No. Nothing. I don't have anything positive to say about it, unfortunately.
Right.
Like in my eyes, Kevin Hart absolutely made the right decision, and not only that, his response was remarkable.
Right.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
You can't put that on somebody else. Hey, you said some fucked up shit a long time ago. I know, I apologized. Well, we want you to apologize again. No. Fuck you.
No.
Seriously, fuck you. I'm not going to, why should I, as a man, apologize for something that I've already talked about? That takes a lot for somebody to actually admit responsibility and have something where they say, you know what, this is something I actually needed help on back in the day.
Right.
You know, no. Same thing with myself.
I had poor judgment in my words.
And poor judgment in my actions.
My thinking. I was a different person then.
Did I address it? Yes. Mm-hmm. Were you guys willing to continue to support me throughout my career afterwards?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So what's the problem?
Oh, because the Oscars are now calling.
Oh, right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's how it always works.
Moving forward.
Let's
talk about some actual good news, some exciting news out of here of Back to the Classics.
I mean, we're here. We're now, today's Wednesday? So we're talking Friday?
That's right.
Friday. We have the exclusive, I'm saying it again, exclusive screening passes to Aquaman.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. I mean, we've been waiting for this movie for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, the trailers have really won me over.
Reviews have already started to come in.
Some of them are pretty hot,
and yeah, some of them really enjoyed the movie. So we are going to make sure that before the official release for Aquaman comes out, which is December 21st, that we will actually have this out before you go and see it, so that you feel confident in some of the reviews that are coming out of here from Back to the Classics. And I gotta tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have more opportunities just like this. So keep a check on it. beatnetworkonline.com/back to the classics. We will have our review of Aquaman out probably by this weekend.
And how excited are you for Aquaman?
I am. I think overall I'm really, really excited. You know, I read something that like Jason Momoa was like fell in love with his future wife, Lisa Bonet, when he was 8 years old, and she was already 20 at the time. Yeah, I read something about that, and I was like, you know what? I kind of hope that's real.
The power of the MILF is what I want to say. Well, let's waste no more time. We got to get into a little thing we call 2-minute drill for today's movie. We've already spent like 30 minutes on just entertainment talk.
Yeah, I'm good on talking about entertainment. I've stood on my soapbox, whether you agree with it or not. I could care less.
So, 2-minute drill, you ready?
I am.
2-minute drill starts now. What does John say to Ellis after he enters Holly's office?
You got a little something on your nose.
Except that. No, that's actually incorrect. It'll be a missed something.
Oh, you missed something. Okay, that's fine. What is Ellis's first name? 3,
Is it
2,
Phil?
1. Warren.
Warren. Oh my god. Okay. Who plays Argyle?
The actual actor?
Actual actor.
I don't know the actual actor, to be honest, because I think that was the only thing he was really off of.
Devarro White. I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong too.
All right, here we go. All right. There are numerous references to Christmas carols and Christmas-related music in this movie. Mm-hmm. The tune that McClane is whistling as he approaches the bank of the elevators that will take him to the 30th floor to reunite with his wife. What is the song he is whistling?
Jingle Bells.
Yes.
Ah! Yeah! All right. 40 seconds. Where is Nakatomi Plaza located?
Los Angeles.
Be more specific, please.
Well, Los Angeles, it's a city.
Well, yeah, but it's a sub-city that is located.
That wins. It's Los Angeles.
Can we count that? No. All right, fuck, we'll count it. Ding. All right. It's actually Century City, California.
There is no Century City, California.
Yes, there
anymore.
is.
Not anymore.
Yes, there is.
Okay, fine. What is Holly Gennaro's job title?
She is a senior marketing executive.
Nope. 3, 2, 1. She is the director of corporate affairs.
Same thing.
Nope.
No, it's not. All right, well, whatever. That was 2 minutes. Tied again. That's some good shit over there, though. If you don't know what we were talking about, we're taking it back to 1988. I was 1.
I was 1 also.
The original Christmas movie, I don't give a damn what anybody says, Die Hard. Original release date, July 15th, 1988. Shares opening weekend with the re-release of Bambi and A Fish Called Wanda. Hell of a weekend.
That is such a strong weekend.
Hell of a weekend.
If you guys have never seen, first off, if you've never seen Bambi, then I don't know what your childhood was like.
You're just lost.
And if you've never seen A Fish Called Wanda, that is an old British comedy that was heavily underrated. I think it wound up like being one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, like John Cleese.
You're right.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
It had all those guys from Monty Python.
Kevin Kline's in it.
Yeah, Kevin Kline's in it.
Production budget, $28 million with a box office total of $140.8 million. Currently 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is so fair.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely fair.
I like it.
Real quick, before we get into this movie, obviously there have been 5 Die Hards that have been released. Can you rank yours?
I can. You ready?
All right.
I'm going to go...
Going 1 through 5, so 1 being whatever it is.
Oh, 5, my favorite being number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do number 5. I'll do... What's the god-awful one that we just got? Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, Good Day to Die Hard.
Horrible.
I'm matching you on that.
Horrible movie.
Go ahead.
Number 4, Live Free or Die Hard.
I actually give that to Die Hard 2. It didn't really resonate that well with me.
Okay. Well, number 3, Die Hard 2.
Okay. That's Live Free or Die Hard for me.
Number 2 will definitely is Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I'm right there with you. And then the number 1 obviously is Die Hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, but I think unlike you, Die Hard with a Vengeance is a close number 2 with the first one.
They still throw it on HBO and Stars, and I always find myself watching it.
Right.
I don't want to spend too much time on Die Hard with a Vengeance, but did you ever see the alternate ending for it?
No.
Okay. No. So, spoiler alert if you haven't seen Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance, they basically foil the plan, and they go and they shoot the helicopter, and Simon Gruber winds up dying in a helicopter crash, right?
Right.
Okay. In the original version of this, Gruber wins, is later found in a coffee shop, and John tracks him down after being fired from the FBI. Oh, it's dark. After being fired from the FBI, do you remember at the end of Die Hard with a Vengeance when he throws him his own aspirin bottle?
Right.
He tracks that aspirin bottle down to the drugstore, which is right down the street from the cafe. They ask where he usually hangs out at. They find him. And what winds up happening is this little fun conversation game. And the idea is that they have a Chinese rocket launcher, right? Mm-hmm. Because John's holding one and he's basically holding him hostage. Right. And so he does Simon Says with him, which was a big theme in the original Die Hard with a Vengeance. Mm-hmm. And it kind of went back and forth. And finally his question is, Simon says, what would have saved your life? What would have saved your life? What item would have saved your life in this case? And the idea is that they're turning the Chinese rocket launcher at the same time. And he says, I don't know, and pushes the button where the rocket goes and actually kills Simon Gruber. And John says a bulletproof vest, and he shows his bulletproof vest and then walks off. And then that's the end of Die Hard with a Vengeance. It is wonderful, but I fully understand why they went the original route.
This was actually shot?
Yes. No, you can fully pull it up. It is fucking fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Well, I love Die Hard with a Vengeance because it's just simply balls to the wall. Fucking awesome.
Absolutely. Bruce is a classic character, obviously.
So for those who don't know, Die Hard is ranked number 20 on Empire's 2017 list of 100 greatest movies of all time.
That may be a little bit too low for me, but okay. I'm okay. I'll accept it right now.
So, okay, so let's go back to what I was talking about Century City. Now, Nakatomi Plaza. I used to work at a hotel, and I think I told a story on the show before. I used to work as a doorman for a hotel that's no longer there on Avenue of the Stars in Century City, California. Right?
Oh, brother, this thing is 3 blocks. Century City is 3 blocks of Los Angeles.
And you would expect it as such.
It's in Los Angeles. Please go ahead.
Whatever.
It's literally in between.
I had the pleasure of looking at Nakatomi Plaza every single day.
That's actually kind of amazing. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah. See, I was able to look at them like, wow, John McClane swung out on that bitch a couple times. Carl Winslow,
Al Powell.
I love Carl Winslow's better name. When he pulls up, I see all of that. I remember when I first had to know, like, oh shit, that's Nakatomi Plaza. I would walk that area all the time so I could see, like, oh, this is where Al Powell crashes his car, cause they were turning his car into Swiss cheese. Like, I love all of that shit, and I'm telling you, the joy of living in LA is that you get to get those landmarks. Like, oh, that's fucking Nakatomi. No.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. Before the show, when was the last time you saw Die Hard?
Before the show? Mm-hmm. So I had the pleasure, because Fathom Events every once in a blue moon does something really awesome where they bring back movies and throw it onto the theater screen. Mm-hmm. So this year is the 30-year celebration of Die Hard, and I actually caught it in theaters in October.
And how was it?
Oh, it's fantastic. Absolutely amazing. There were no previews. They literally just had the director speak about the movie for about 5 minutes, and then the movie started.
John McClane was there?
No, not there. It just on like the screen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh shit, McClane was there?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right, so this movie does open with that classic Fox logo.
Of course,
it's not going around the whole 20th. It's just, hey, 20th Century Fox, right? Moving on, But I love the fact that this movie does kick off and it just goes. It's what's clocked in 2 hours, 12 minutes long.
Right. So there's a little bit of build up here because John at this point is on his flight and he speaks with a gentleman there who's giving him tips on how to relieve stress from the flight itself. And when the plane lands, looks over and sees that John has a handgun, which, by the way, totally different rules now in 2018. TSA would probably be right on his ass.
Oh, but you didn't get on the plane with that shit.
Right, exactly. So, but John has been 11 years on the force, and you come to find out as he's picked up by Argyle he's been separated from his wife for about 6 months, and that he's coming here to have that conversation with her and try to spend Christmas with her
and the kids.
Yeah, and it begins. You know, they make their way over to Nakatomi Plaza.
Now, before we get to the actual Nakatomi Plaza, Argyle
is probably one of my favorite characters.
He's a street jive. Hey, brother, man, listen, all you got to do is tell her you love her.
You know, this guy was probably part of like an 80s street rap group as growing up, or at least a dance group for sure.
I think he worked at Tam's Burgers on Crenshaw and happened to catch him. Hey, listen, man, you're funny. You want to be in the movie? Hey, come on, be in this movie real quick, man. Because Argyle gives you that vibe like, I don't think he worked after this movie. I don't think he got a job after this movie.
No.
Nah.
There's no way. You know what he looked like he belonged in?
Crush Groove.
Yeah, and Last Dragon.
And Breaking. And Breaking 2.
Oh, man.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Breaking 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Should have been part of House Party.
Okay. Quick 2-minute drill question.
Well, that's unfair. But go ahead.
Who dies first?
The first person who dies?
Very first death.
Are we talking terrorists or people?
This is the first death.
Joe Takagi.
Good. Yeah. Mr. Nakatomi himself, actually. Got knocked out of here real quick. So we're at this Christmas party. John's there. He meets up with Mr. Takagi, who kind of busts his balls kind of like on arrival. Which is hilarious to me.
First of all, we have to talk about this building because the building is absolutely beautiful. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, now keep in mind, John's used to New York, right? So everything is still it's still very kind of 1980s. It's still murder capital of the world, I think, at that time. So he's not really used to like a lot of friendliness, as you can tell. And one of the ways that you can tell that is just by the receptionist. Receptionist is like, oh, who are you here to see? Oh, I'm here to see my wife. Oh, okay. Well, just punch her name in onto the computer. And he's like, what? Like, why can't you just tell me like where my wife is? I've been invited to this party. And he's like, oh yeah, no, go ahead and find it. So he goes and he punches in, and that's when he realizes that Holly McClane has been using her maiden name, Holly Gennaro. Mm-hmm. And he heads up and he meets Joe Takagi. And then he meets the early frontrunner for that full award.
Early frontrunner who's really big. He's really fighting for that shot.
Warren Ellis. Warren is in Holly's room.
Doing coke.
Just finished a bump. Because it's a 1980s Christmas party in California, of course. Finishes a bump.
And we all do coke in California.
Right.
Of course.
And the first thing that Joe says to Warren, he goes, Ellis, this is John McClane, Holly's husband. He's a cop.
He's a cop. And McClane gives him the best, like, what's up? You missed something. Smiling about it too, like oh yeah. It's crazy. I'm like, dude, okay. All right.
And then let's talk about this party for a second, because anything and everything is going at this party. We got people that are working with each other. Mm-hmm. At least that's what is assumed. Mm-hmm. Trying to find different rooms to basically fuck in. Mm-hmm. This is still an office Christmas party.
One of the best.
What the absolute best.
One of the best. It's movies like these and scenes like these. What I saw when I was younger, I'm like, I can't wait to get into the corporate world.
Right. They actually came out with that comedy Office Christmas Party, and it's actually pretty good. I actually
it's
really,
okay. Yeah.
I found myself really liking it, and it was like every time they reflect that, I keep going back to Die Hard, and I'm like, I don't think they're that far off. Because
not really. And I've been to a few employer Christmas parties. Like, so we wait all year to get shit faced with each other and try to fuck one another, right?
Oh yeah,
got it. I have a home for this, but whatever. But yeah. So Holly meets up with John, and he changes his clothes, and what was a sentimental moment turns a bit raw because they have a quick little argument.
Right. And it's very clear that they're still very much in love with each other.
Right.
Pretty early on, which is really a testament to both of the actors here. Because you could definitely tell that they had chemistry, and they did sound like a married couple throughout it. Even John, after Holly is pulled away to do something, is kind of kicking himself almost immediately. He's like, way to go, John.
Right.
Just like on his side. Now, a quick thing. John came in street clothes, obviously, but he actually winds up dressing himself down to just a wife beater and no shoes on. And the reason why the no shoes is because he wants to find a way to relax. So he's trying to dig his toes into the carpet and then stretch them all the way out. This may not seem like such an important part, but there is, but the fact that he's dressed down actually plays a major role into this movie later on.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's in there. Holly is called away, and as he's sitting there kicking himself in the ass, but he's getting dressed as well. And then all of a sudden we get this crew of German terrorists kind of just storming the building.
And we get the introduction to Hans Gruber.
And I thought his intro was so cool.
First of all, man, you want to know what I loved most about his intro? He's not hiding behind anybody. He is out in front. Everybody, he's the most recognizable face there.
Well, when we first see him, and it's really just interesting camera work. All the guys getting off the van, and you got the guys getting on the van, and they're all strapped. It has the cameras panning through the group. Right. In the middle is Hans Gruber.
Right.
He's walking out toward the front.
Right.
So and he's walking with some authority. So all right, so there's your guy who's running the show.
Oh.
Got it. So by the time he gets up to the 30th floor where the party is, and the shots start ringing out, you look to that group of terrorists, you immediately instantly who's running the show.
Absolutely.
That guy is. The dude with the beard.
Decides not to even take a weapon for himself, even though he does wind up picking up a pistol later on, and he's just, he had a plan. He knew his plan. He was incredibly intelligent, wickedly intelligent, because he knew exactly how everything was going to play itself out. And we as the audience, we were really interested because this was really the first time in a long time where the villain not only has a plan, but actually has a pretty formidable plan by itself.
It's definitely a situation where you have the villain going up against, McClane's everyman. He's a guy, regular cop in the city he doesn't know shit about. McClane is us, if you will.
He is
stuck in a really fucked up situation because even when Gruber knocks off Mr. Takagi, and McClane sees it, he's like, why did you stop him, John? Because you could be there just like him, you asshole. Like that's what we would say to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Like, why did I stop? I'll be fucking dead too right now. Like,
2-minute drill question for you. Two-parter. First off, how many terrorists were there?
12.
Okay, good. Second one. Part of the reason why they needed Mr. Takagi separated from the group is that they needed a password. Mm-hmm. Not only did they know literally everything about Joe Takagi, but they wanted to do their best format to try to. They did not plan to actually kill him initially. No. They just wanted the password, which is a little interesting. Usually you go in guns blazing, but in this case they were smart. They wanted to talk, but they wanted the password, and Joe Takagi was not willing to give up the password. What was that password?
Ooh, wow. I know it's something simple, but I don't know.
Red Castle.
Yeah, something simple.
Something simple. Because they had the hacker. What's his name?
Oh, that fucking guy.
That guy is awesome.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I remember I watched the movie. I'm like, who's this fucking guy? Like, what annoys me about him, because he's also very much campaigning for that full award too. And the reason why is because he walks in with this unmatched energy, the most hyped out of everybody, including Alan Rickman, by the way. When the guy comes in, takes out the security guard, he hops in Mortal Kombat style to kick the security guard 2 points. Like, oh, I fucking hate this guy.
But that's kind of why I loved him as well.
Oh God. Like he bleeds 90s cliche, 80s cliche. I'm telling you, he bleeds it. Hate that fucking guy. But,
Theo. Clarence Gilliard. He's been in a few things, actually.
So here we are. McClane's now stripped down to his wife beater, and I'm going to assume jeans. But
jeans, no shoes.
No shoes. But that's now the iconic John McClane look.
Right.
When he's, faced with issues. And, the movie plays out really, really tight. And, for a movie that's 2 hours and 12 minutes long, there's really no room for let's try this. No, let's try that. Da, da, da. Even with oh my God, who plays the not Reginald Vell Johnson? I'm calling him Carl Winslow. Fuck the other man.
Al Powell.
But he's the
dude from Breakfast Club.
He plays the head of the.
You're talking about Dwayne T. Robinson, Deputy Chief of Police, right. Paul Gleason.
He is such.
Man, they nailed it on these characters.
He's a dick. He's a dick, but he's also scared as shit because when the FBI pulls up, he's kissing ass all day. You know what I mean? And the introduction to the Reginald Vell Johnson character, which by the way is bullshit because Bruce Willis is letting you know there's something going on at Nakatomi Plaza. These motherfuckers have guns.
All right. 2-minute drill question.
Good.
How did he alert them?
He went to the roof and he used the frequency from the bad guys.
Nope.
No.
How the first alert actually came from the fire alarm. Fire alarm goes off, and that's why Reginald shows up in the first place.
Right.
2-minute drill question. What's Reginald's favorite food?
Donuts. No, not donuts.
No.
He buys like 8 of them too. He does. Shit. What is it? Honey buns?
Nope. Twinkies.
He has a whole breakdown about Twinkies too. Oh my God, I forgot about that part. Oh my God.
I know this movie.
He has a whole breakdown about Twinkies too. You fat ass.
He's my hero.
So, Gruber, at this point, has taken out Takagi. McClane has taken out Tony.
Right.
And it's really just a game of cat and mouse at this point.
Right. Now let's talk about this plan real quick. We won't discuss the contents because there's an epic line that Jay really knows how to say very well, so I'm going to let him take that one.
Say it now?
No, later.
Just cue me in. I'm ready.
I will. But the plan was for them to drill through this lock. Mm-hmm. The first few locks you could do as a computer hack. The rest of it you had to manually drill. And there's 7 locks in general. And there's kind of a little bit of a time frame that's needing to happen, and that's why in a lot of cases this is trying to go as fast as it possibly can, because this happens throughout the entire night if you think about it, but it's just a sped up timeline is basically what happens. So Theo figures out the first 3 locks, and then he figures out the first 2 locks, and then locks 3 through 6 he has to drill through, which is exactly what winds up happening. The 7th lock would actually get unlocked through a very particular way in itself. But this cat and mouse game winds up continuing on. And one of the things that winds up happening is John winds up killing one of the guards. His name is Marco. Mm-hmm. And before that, he actually kills the first bad guy he actually kills is the brother. What's his name? Tony. Tony is the brother?
Yeah, but Marco is the one with the longer hair.
No. The brother of Carl.
That's not Tony?
Don't think so. Okay. We can look that up. Oh, yeah, it is Tony.
I know this movie too, Dave.
Okay, sorry, pal. My bad. That's my bad.
But he gets the
So
radio and the weapon.
Right. Mm-hmm. So the first thing that he does, and this is why it's a Christmas movie, is the first thing he does is kill Tony. And this is when he finally makes his announcement really
to the bad guys.
Sends him down an elevator shaft with a message written on him that says,
"Now I have a machine gun.
Ho, 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 ho."
Genius! Genius! Oh, yeah. Santa Claus is coming. He has a big ass gun, though. Okay. Oh, yeah. Love it.
So then it continues on. This cat and mouse game moves forward, and one of the things that John winds up getting is killing Marco. Mm-hmm. And Marco has a very unique device that he has on him, which is an entire bag filled with C4 explosives.
Mm-hmm. And detonators.
Right. Hans, who has now seen his dead brother, is kind of in this, shit's about to go down, and he's kind of going a little bit crazy
right
over this. Not Hans, I'm sorry, Carl, who's going a little bit crazy. And Hans is trying to keep his men in check while getting this plan really well through. Now, Holly Gennaro, because I wish to bring her up because she's easily that girl award in this movie.
Yep.
She kind of comes up and she's immediately like, listen, we need to have a plan with whatever you guys are doing. Unless you want things to start getting messy, I suggest you taking us into groups to the bathroom. We also have a pregnant woman who she's not due right now, but it could really make your guys' life a little bit easier if we bring a couch in from one of the offices. And so on and so forth. So she's kind of, but at the same time, she's not giving up her name, right? Because she says Holly Gennaro. And she's not saying Holly McClane because the last thing they want is to tie things back to John because they know they can find a way to actually use that. That is good writing for starters and great character building a little bit for Holly there.
And that's really that's how good old Ellis loses his life.
That's correct.
Because he thought he can sweet talk his way out of anything.
That's correct.
Realizing you are wrong
now
and caught a bullet to the noodle.
Now, Sergeant Al Powell is, as he's leaving the building, winds up getting a body thrown onto his building, onto his car.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
The body of Marco, and that's when police are finally called, and now we have this whole huge official hostage situation. Could
they turn my car into Swiss cheese? Swiss cheese.
Using one of the radio frequencies, John is able to contact Sergeant Al Powell and goes by one of his few nicknames in this movie.
Roy.
Give me another one. 2-minute drill question.
Steve? Mm-mm. He wasn't Steven Dyer with a Vengeance?
No. In this movie.
In this movie, he has more than one.
He has more than one nickname.
Mike.
What's that?
Mike.
Not Mike. It's Mac.
Mac.
Argyle gives him the nickname Mac in this movie as well.
So they use anti-tank missiles to disable a SWAT car that's pretty much rushing in to rush the building.
Let me tell you something. How cool is that fucking scene where you see these two guys like lugging through this huge thing to kind of set up these missiles, because apparently they had this brilliant idea to storm the building. Mm-hmm. But Hans is fully expecting this, and he uses Theo to use the cameras to determine exactly where each one of these guys is located and then gun them down.
Right.
Then they bring in the car, basically, this huge military vehicle that does jack shit to them.
Does nothing. This is an armored SWAT car that you see coming from like 5 miles down the street, and they blow past everybody outside and go up the steps. They didn't make up the steps all the way.
No, they didn't.
Before they just blow the
Who the fuck is the driver?
Some child.
Why is the driver going through that way? Why isn't the driver not ramming the gate to the garage?
If you can see our face right now, we're like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
But they take care of him pretty quickly.
Oh, they take care of all of them pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly. Now, one of the scenes that kills me, I actually forgot about this scene. After Gruber takes out Ellis,
Oh, you got to talk about the C4 scene before that.
The checking the explosive attached to the roof. Gruber, he comes across McClane.
Oh, no. Before that.
Before that? All right, go ahead.
No. Before that. We have one of the most impressive shots that's ever done, because they only had one take to do this shot, where they actually did blow up the Nakatomi building with C4 through it. John McTierney actually talks about that, how difficult the shot was, which is why they set up about 7 cameras to try to get all the best angles of the shot, and why they showed it so many different ways in the movie itself. Because John winds up taking the C4 to get the real attention of everybody, to show how serious everybody was to blow up the elevator shaft. Right. And he does so beautifully with all this C4 connected to a computer screen, and it is a glorious shot.
It's a great shot.
Just this entire floor filled with C4. It's pretty fantastic.
Nakatomi. So I want to talk about when McClane catches up with Gruber, but doesn't know what Gruber looks like.
Right.
And really, neither does Gruber and knows what McClane looks like.
Right.
So, but obviously when he sees the one lone guy with the gun, he goes, oh, don't shoot me. That's clearly McClane.
Right.
But
Gruber changes his accent.
Changes the accent completely and acts like he's a hostage.
Right.
Which I thought was a great little misdirect. I was like, oh, you sneaky son of a bitch, you. Okay. Because they normally, with a German accent, them shits are strong. Like, really heavy, you know? So the fact that he can switch it up so, like, fearlessly. Oh, no problem. I'll be this now, right? So I'm watching the movie and goes, I don't remember this part, but why is McClane being such like, he don't seem weird to you? This fucking guy's odd, right? When he gives him the gun, I'm not gonna lie, like I just seen this movie for the first time. Oh fuck, John, don't do that, man.
But the other side of that, because at this point, I think the FBI had been called in, which is going to get to that 7th part of this movie, or the 7th lock at least. And also part of the reason why Hans is up there is to kind of check the C4. Not only that, but at the same token, they had figured out who John McClane they had figured out who the person actually is, which is John McClane, obviously. Right. Right. And they found that out through Warren being the biggest idiot in the world, trying to sell his way in there. Hans, Bubby, I'm your white knight. tries to get John to basically surrender himself, and John, recognizing that he just can't surrender himself, hears Warren actually get killed. You know,
Hans, Bubby. What? Anyway.
Now back to that scene though. One of the other brilliant things that he did, and I don't know if you see how subtle this was, but he asked Hans, "What's your name?" And he says, Bill Clay. They pan over to show the directory. Hans had already gotten a name, to try to foil the plan.
He goes, Clay. Bill Clay.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Oh, shit. All right.
It's wonderful. Beautifully written. So, obviously, he gets the gun. And
tries to shoot McClane.
Right. And first thing he does is he radios in everybody to get ready, and tries to shoot McClane. There's no bullets in the gun. Obviously. And as McClane is getting ready to take out Gruber at this point, that's when Carl and the rest of the party decides to
come on in,
crash the party a little bit.
Come on in. And the thing with that part is that there's always that one supervisor, sergeant, whatever the case may be, who just feels like, oh yeah, I have the right idea. Let's storm the place.
Right.
It's 30 fucking hostages up there.
Right.
You had 12 guys with guns, now it's reduced to 7.
Right.
So the smart thing to do is to understand what the fuck you're dealing with.
Yep.
But it's like, nope, let's go ahead and crash so we all go home and have Christmas.
Right.
And almost got their bluff called immediately.
Not only that, but they didn't really have they just didn't really have a very strong consensus plan that didn't follow a protocol. Mm-hmm. They weren't thinking outside the box, mm-hmm. which is what they were kind of banking on. Let's talk about the real heroes of this story, the FBI agents.
Are they the real heroes of the story?
Oh, they're totally the real heroes of the story. These guys
are kind of dickish.
These guys are gung ho about being in the FBI because they're part of the fucking FBI. They're the ones in charge. What were their names? They had the same name.
Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson and Johnson.
Mm-hmm. No relation.
No relation. And they decide to say, well, the smartest thing to do now is to cut all the power to the city block.
Yes, that's true.
So they talk to a guy to cut the power of the city block, and that's what actually wound up demagnetizing the 7th lock for it to actually be able to be opened up afterwards. Mm. For them to, of course, get what they've all been there for, which is money. $640 million in bonds.
Gruber does demand a helicopter on the rooftop for transport, but the FBI they're preparing to double cross him.
Of course.
By sending a helicopter, basically gunships, to shoot all this shit down. McClane discovers that Gruber intends to detonate the explosives on the roof, faking the death of his team so that he can escape. So that they can escape with the bonds. They're making the preparations, and then Gruber sees a news report by the horrible asshole of reporters, Richard Thornburg, played by William Atherton.
Yeah.
And no matter what he's in, he plays a sleaze.
And the worst kind.
And the worst kind of sleaze. They're at the McClane's home.
Yeah.
Getting their kid to say, Mommy, Daddy, come on,
come home.
Which blows the roof off the whole situation, because now Gruber now knows Holly Gennaro is actually Holly McClane.
Right. Because Atherton wound up, William Atherton has always been kind of a sleazeball. He was also in Ghostbusters. He was the EPA agent. He was also, he was in Real Genius also. He was Professor Hathaway. He's just a dick upon dicks upon dicks. He's just, all he wants to do is there was one humorous moment with him where he kind of messes with the anchor a little bit right before he gets on air, and it's just a really bad moment for live TV at that point. But he's a real dick. McClane and Al Powell have kind of built up this friendship, obviously, to kind of discuss why one person is more of a desk jockey, what's the other person trying to do here, and trying to figure out literally everything. And that's when McClane, from a very heartfelt conversation where he says, if I don't make it out of here, I want you to tell my wife that I say I'm sorry. Right. This is, of course, after nearly getting gunned down by Carl and getting his feet cut up. Oh, God, his feet cut up from all the glass that's hit the floor at this point. Right. McClane obviously figures out a way to escape when he figures out that there's C4 at the top of the building, when he radios in, where he finally has his big fight with Carl.
Well, you know what's funny? Just kind of branching out just for a split second. You realize that every single Die Hard movie, McClane just gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, fucked up.
The only one he doesn't is the last one, and it's terrible.
Yeah, I don't count that. Ball McClane, I'm okay on. But, as far as everything else, I'm totally in for it. But, so they take the hostages to the roof, but Gruber grabs Holly to take him with her, take her with him, to use against McClane, who in the meantime defeats Carl in a good old fight, and he heads to the roof. He kills another cat, and then he sends the hostages downstairs just as FBI appears to start shooting at McClane.
Of course, because they're idiots.
Guaranteed to happen.
Right. Because they wanted to make it feel like it's fucking Nam. It's just like fucking Nam. And like the other Johnson, the Black Johnson was like, I was in high school at the time, you asshole. Anyway, so they start shooting up at McClane. McClane goes, recognizing that everything's going to happen, gets the hostages off the roof somehow, ties a fire extinguisher hose, and winds up dropping down to one of the floors, shoots out the window, and kind of dives his way into it right as the C4 is blowing up, killing the FBI agents and the pilots in the process. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting to the tailspin of the movie, where we finally get to the final encounter. And at this point, Hans, recognizing that everything has been foiled by McClane, that at this point they need to figure out a way to just get out of there, has Holly with him. McClane shows up with a machine gun, but he only has 2 bullets left in his handgun. Machine gun has nothing left in it.
Right.
Hans demands that he gives up the machine gun, which he does. It doesn't matter because there's nothing in it. Taped to his back is the handgun that he has posted there. The receptionist, I can't remember his name, is there as well, along with Hans and Holly. They have this conversation, where Hans tries his best on German accented voice of yippee-ki-yay motherfucker.
Which is that's a strong accent.
It really is.
Yeah. but I give him credit for trying.
Right. So after a good laugh, he winds up pulling the gun from his back, shoots the receptionist, and then winds up shooting Hans finally after all this time. And as Hans is dragging Holly off the top of the building, they wind up unlatching the watch that she's given for the Christmas party, and Hans falls to his death. Now,
let's break that down for a split second. To know that Hans will die, he'll fall to his death simply by unhooking a watch. I thought it was genius because when he does fall, he falls slow motion.
Yes, he does.
And that same iconic shot is used in With a Vengeance.
Oh, absolutely.
When he's reminiscing about Hans.
Absolutely.
So I love the fact that when he is falling, it's not like, oh!
Right.
It's slow. and it's quiet.
It is.
So by the time the next sound we get is when we're on the floor and we're seeing Al Powder and everybody else like, oh shit. I hope that's not a hostage.
Shit. I hope that's not one of the hostages.
Splat. He just goes splat. You know, so I thought it was dope. It didn't require no James Horner score. It just, the bad guy's dead. Let's watch him die. You know?
They come down the building, and first thing that winds up happening is John recognizing who Al Powell is, you know, from the brotherly love, I guess. I don't know. Anyways,
It's a cop thing.
They hug it out, and come to find out, Carl is still alive. Comes out with a machine gun after getting his ass whooped. And Al Powell saves the day by shooting Carl a few times in the chest and head, killing him finally.
Argyle's still around. He crashes through the parking garage in the limo.
He does knock out Theo in the process.
He could have been did that, but whatever. But Thornburg arrives and attempts to interview McClane, but Holly punches him the fuck out. And they both leave the area with Argyle, and that's your movie.
Did Argyle have the last line in that movie? I think so.
I believe he did. I can't think what the line is.
Because I remember Thornburg's line. He was like, "Did you get that?"
Wow. Oh my God. So,
and that's it. That's the 1988 classic Die Hard.
Classic. So let me ask you this. So with the idea of Die Hard, can it be remade today? Obviously, we have a Die Hard prequel coming out pretty soon.
Oh God,
that explores years before Nakatomi.
I don't need that to be honest.
Me neither. But it's coming. Die Hard Year One. I bet that's what it's called.
Was Batman Year One all over again?
No, it's Die Hard. It's called
Die Hard Year One.
It's called McClane, the early years.
Fucking stupid.
So but
can it be
remade though?
Can it be remade? Sure. And it has been remade in some formats. Mm-hmm. Even movies like Skyscraper.
Sky Hard.
Yeah, Sky Hard, where a guy has to climb a giant building that in this case is completely on fire, to save his family. Yeah, that has totally been remade. Will it ever capture the same essence? No. And they shouldn't try to expect it to do so.
Right.
In this case, Die Hard is so freakishly well written that it's tough to find a real cheesy scene in there. If anything, maybe Warren Ellis is a little cheesy. Maybe even Argyle is a little cheesy, but it doesn't matter because it kind of stands to the test, man. It brings a little bit of character into the movie as well.
Right.
What do you think?
I'm gonna agree with you. I think something like that can be remade today, even though a lot of today's action movies does grab its beats from a Die Hard.
Right.
I'm with you. There are some incredibly cheesy moments, including Al Powell, including Argyle, including Hans himself. So it's just certain things in the movie that reminds you, oh, this is 80s. This is 80s all the way.
How would you, let me ask you this, the legacy of Die Hard today, how has it stood after 30 years rewatching it? Did it still feel just as good rewatching it?
Yeah, it did. It felt like they took their time
to
really piece together a good story, a good cohesive story. To have the shots be as tight as possible, for like I said before earlier in the show, this movie's 2 hours and 12 minutes long, but it doesn't feel that long.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean? Now as time progresses, we get more Die Hards like Die Hard 2. I hardly really remember, but
exactly. That's why it's towards the bottom of my list. I remember Die Hard 4 more than I remember Die Hard 2.
Right, and Die Hard with a Vengeance was like, in my opinion, my Die Hard 2.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm there with you.
Yeah. And Live Free was okay.
I'm a big fan of Timothy Olyphant. So
right, Live Free was okay.
So, and I thought I really thought I'm a big fan of Curtis. What's his name? Chris Curtis.
Cliff Curtis.
Cliff Curtis. Sorry, I said Chris. It's Cliff Curtis, and I'm a big fan of Timothy Oliphant.
And Justin Long as well.
Yeah, Justin Long is fine. Like, he doesn't annoy me as much anymore. I'd actually like to see him in something else now and see how he would do.
Right.
But yeah, even Die Hard movies have found ways to kind of be even more cheesy now. But the bottom line is that rewatching Die Hard and seeing how well pieced together that movie is. I look at action movies and say, do what you can to copy this and then put your own spin on it.
I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. But, don't forget, we're talking about a franchise where the first movie is called Die Hard. The second movie is called Die Hard 2, Die Harder. And it's like, how much brain do you need to really put this together?
Well, not anymore. But what I mean by it is that compared to the rest of them, the first one is such a unique Christmas movie classic that it's really tough to kind of put. It's really tough to kind of not give it its own test of time. Right. Like, I still feel like I can watch this movie 10 years from now at 40 years and still say that was a fucking great movie. Right. And it's timeless in that sense.
Who's the bad guy in Die Hard 2?
I can't remember. Probably, I can't remember. Well, I totally remember Die Hard 3 though. Oh, no problem.
That's the Groovers for me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, takeaways. Who's getting your that guy award?
It's actually going to go to Hans Gruber more than anything else. I am a big fan. Hot take. I am a big fan of Bruce Willis. I'm a big fan of John McClane as the character. And in every other Die Hard movie, even in Die Hard with a Vengeance, McClane really stands out. No problem. But Gruber is almost too intelligent for this movie. And at the same time, just intelligent enough to get caught on certain things. Think of it this way. They stormed that place with 12 people. Imagine if they actually got that up to 15 or even 20. Right. Would McClane have succeeded? Maybe, probably, maybe not. That I think that's the reality of the situation there. The other side of that, Bruce Willis during his roast says that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and he's wrong. I'm sorry. I know you are the main character, but the writers of this movie believe that it's a Christmas movie. And of course, it's during a roast, so maybe it's a comedy thing. But did you know they literally made a Christmas book out of Die Hard for children?
I believe it. I definitely believe it.
So think about that.
Is it called Die Hard?
Yes. Wow. A Die Hard Christmas.
Wow. Okay.
And there you go. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
That chick award.
Holly Gennaro, easy. Unfortunately, she is the only actress in this that really gets a prominent role. Every other female character in this is either screaming, pregnant, or giving up information on where the kids are at.
Gotcha.
Or is one of the kids. But even disregarding all of that, she actually made good, strong decisions. As you can tell, that she was a very affirmative woman that had the trust of her corporation, obviously, and was kind of trying to do what she thought was best.
That full award.
There's at least 3 for sure, but I'm going to give it to the FBI agents because the bottom line is that is you guys again weren't thinking outside the box. I have a problem with when cops believe that they're smarter than the bad guys and never actually prove that to be true.
Cut that out.
There isn't anything I'd cut out.
Okay.
Seriously, the movie is so rock solid tight at 2 hours and 12 minutes that I could say, oh, maybe some of the building between Al Powell and John McClane, but no, I need that as well. There is nothing in this movie that I would cut out.
Iconic scene.
Oh boy. Any one of the numerous probably, you know what, the iconic scene really for this movie is going to be the ending scene, where you have finally McClane defeating Hans in that case, in that iconic shot of Hans falling off the building. Right. Hans Gruber is the 46th best according to the AFI's top 100 heroes and villains. He's the 46th best villain ever created in any movie. And he only got one of them. So imagine what would happen if he gotten two.
Okay.
All right, my guy, Jay Alonso. Who's your That Guy Award?
That Guy Award, I struggled because I wanted to give it to Gruber because I thought he was just so smooth. But I'm going to give it to McClane. McClane, it was the launching of the franchise. Bruce Willis looks damn good doing this movie. It's always crazy to see a young Bruce Willis kind of running and gunning like that. But the story itself, McClane had a great comeuppance. He came to see his wife, and now he got to save his wife now.
I mean, the way you got to look at it is that Die Hard is really a family movie. It's a movie about
it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a guy winning back a girl. There's some terrorist subplot in the middle of it, and then that's it.
There you go. It's a Christmas movie. Everybody's happy at the end of the day.
Who's getting your That Girl Award?
That chick will have to go to Holly Gennaro / McClane because she bosses up.
Yeah.
At a time when everybody is scared shitless about what's happening right now. That guy with the beard is really fucking scary. But she bosses up and said, listen, either you're going to take us to the bathroom or you're going to have a mess out here.
By the way, do the exceptional thief line. I totally, we missed that cue.
Here we go.
That's what this is all about. Money. You're nothing but just a common thief.
I'm an exceptional thief. And now that I've upgraded to kidnapping, you may want to be nice or change your tone or something like that, right?
Right.
You better shut the fuck up.
Right.
He's serious.
Whoa!
He's serious.
Oh, boy!
All right.
That Fool Award.
That Fool Award. I was very stuck. I was stuck. I had a 3-way That Fool. It was going to be either the Gleason's character was definitely headed to the That Fool chambers. Ellis was definitely headed to the That Fool. And of course, the lady on the other side of the microphone when he first tries to call 911 and she swears up and down this is not an emergency.
Right.
You need to be fucking slapped.
Yeah.
I've went ahead and decided that it's going to go to Ellis only because you're a douche from the moment we see you.
And your doucheness got you.
Your douche has got you killed. Don't be a douche. That's the moral story. Don't be a douche. Cut that out. I want to cut anything out. This movie's very tight.
And it's excellent.
It's very tight. If I were to cut anything, I would kind of shorten the bond between Alan and McClane.
That would be the only thing that I'd consider. But even then, like I'd feel like it'd be a little incomplete.
Yeah,
I'll put you this way: if Al, because I can't remember if he shows up in Die Hard 2.
I don't think so.
Right. So if he if Al doesn't show up in another movie, then I want that bond. But if he shows up in another movie, right, of course. But yeah, iconic scene.
The first time we get those awesome words, that becomes now the quote of John McClane. That's simply "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker."
Yep, that's a good one.
Yep, absolutely. And that's something that never goes away. Even though Live Free Die Hard completely just shits the bed when it comes to using that actual catchphrase.
Sure.
And it's just, I get it. It's PG-13, but you had a choice.
Yeah.
You had a choice. Quick hits. Let's knock this thing out. The Nakatomi Tower is actually the headquarters of 20th Century Fox. The company charged itself rent for the use of the then unfinished building. Now, where I worked at was literally around the corner from 20th Century Fox.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. God love Hollywood. Bruce Willis received a then unheard of $5 million, a fee that was approved by Fox president Rupert Murdoch.
It's fair.
Yeah. Director John McClane found it necessary to smash cut away from Hans Gruber's face whenever he fired a gun because of Alan Rickman's uncontrollable habit of flinching from the noise and muzzle flash. If you look at Rickman's face when he shoots Takagi, you can see him wincing.
I'm going to have to rewatch that.
Better go back. Hart Bachner, who plays Ellis, his line, Hans, Bubby, was ad-libbed. Alan Rickman's quizzical reaction was genuine. Wait a minute, what?
Makes it even better.
On Alan Rickman's first day of shooting, He filmed the scene where Hans Gruber first runs into John McClane. He made a jump off the ledge about 3 feet high. He injured his knee when he landed and damaged some cartilage in his knee.
Ooh.
He was told by his doctor not to put any weight on that leg, and he had to use crutches for a week. For the rest of the scene where Hans Gruber is standing and talking to John McClane, Alan Rickman is standing on one leg for the entire time.
Yeah, because he's leaning on something.
Under his pants.
Yeah. He's leaning on something.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, totally does. Much of the script was improvised due to the constant screenplay tweaks that were being made during filming.
Wow. Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And last but certainly not least, the character of John McClane had not been fully realized until almost halfway through production when John McTiernan and Bruce Willis decided that he was a man who did not like himself very much, but was doing the best he could in a bad situation.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And now we get what we have as... Oh, wait, I'm doing more for you. If I can find it. Here we go. The movie's iconic line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," almost came out differently. According to various interviews and commentaries, John McTiernan thought the line should be "Yippee-ti-yay." Bruce Willis argued that it was "Yippee-ki-yay." Apparently, they tried both versions to see which one was sounding better, and the now famous "Yippee-ki-yay" won. Why would a "Yippee-ki-yay" even be... Anyway.
And it doesn't matter.
Well, that's Die Hard.
This is a little bit of a long one for you guys.
It was a long one, but it was well deserved. I want to thank Dave because without you, I don't think I've seen Die Hard in years.
Well, I'm glad.
In years.
I'm glad I brought it up.
Yes.
It's because next year's going to be Lethal Weapon.
Oh, God. Which one? 4?
No, the first one.
Very, very first
The first one is a Christmas movie.
That is true. That is so true. Well, that's our show today. We want to thank all you guys for tuning in, as always. Dave, let the people know where they can find you.
You can always find me on all social media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Danger Neff. I have been trying to clean up the Facebook page quite a bit, and also trying to post a little bit more activity into that to kind of get the conversation rolling a little bit. We've been kind of a little bit stale on that. That's our bad. Sorry. But yeah, by all means, we definitely allow you guys to share, but we definitely want to keep it based upon a movie talk group. So if it's not based upon that, I'm sorry. I'm going to delete whatever it is and post something else instead.
That's movie related.
It has to be movie related. I don't care if it's rumors. I don't care if it's a trailer or whatnot. I want the conversation rolling, but it has to be movie related. That's the way we roll here.
That's right.
But other than that, yes, you can find me on all the social media platforms at David Danger Neff. I talk to you and we can talk, we'll talk about whatever. A lot of big changes coming up next year. We will discuss that. Please make sure you check out our review for Aquaman. That should be coming out this weekend.
This weekend, most definitely.
Other than that, my guy, Jay Alonzo, where can they find you?
You can find me on all the social media simply at I am Jay Alonzo. That's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Shout out to the whole crew over at PRA Group. I'll see y'all tomorrow for those who are big fans of the show. Like Dave said, jump on that Facebook group, Back to Classics, a movie talk group. Dave has been awesome on it, cleaning that thing up, getting more people involved. And for that, you guys can really enjoy some stuff out of that. We do have major, announcements coming your way very soon. Got some more shows we're working on. Dave is going to branch out. He's not leaving me, but he's going to branch out and do a whole nother thing. So, and me as well. So with that being said, once again, we thank you guys. Heavily, next week's movie, I don't think we have a guest on next week. I don't think so.
No, next week it will not be a movie.
Oh, you're right. Well, we'll announce that soon. But
we can announce it now. So go ahead.
Can we?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you. Well, next week we're going to do our top 10 best and worst films of 2018. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll do 2018.
2018 top 10 best and worst.
Yeah, we'll also talk about how 1998 really affected the years coming through, or even our favorite movies from 1998.
We're doing our top 5.
That's fine.
Yeah, cool.
We'll try and make it short and sweet.
So we'll wrap up 1998, and we'll wrap up 2018 on the same damn show. How's that sound?
Sounds great to me.
Pretty damn good to me. With that being said, we're out this thing. We'll see you next week. We are Back to the Classics. Peace.